Happy Friday. It is Friday, June the 19th, Juneteenth. Gladly, that is a thing that a lot of people are being exposed to, that a lot of people don't know about, especially Caucasian people in the United States. We've just never been informed of it. It's not really taught in schools, unfortunately. But Juneteenth is an important day in our shared history as citizens of this country. If you don't know what it is, I give you permission to pause this video and then go Google it. But, you know, the news agencies are covering it, so you should find out more about it. It's a good thing to know about and a good thing to celebrate. Anyway, today, along those lines, and you'll probably understand after you look up what Juneteenth is about, I'm going to talk about the text from Acts 5:17 through 26, and talk about this time when the apostles got arrested and thrown into jail. They were put into bondage, and then they got delivered. So delivered for what? And why did they end up in jail in the first place? Well, if you go back earlier in chapter 15, it sets the whole thing up. The disciples were actually arrested out of jealousy. For jealousy's sake, they were put in jail. And what caused that is the apostles were out doing what Jesus had done. They were doing what apostles are supposed to do. So if you're a person who calls yourself a disciple of Jesus, a disciple of Jesus Christ, and you want to be in this tradition of the apostles, that means that you should do what the apostles did, which is going out and doing what Jesus did, which is what Jesus told them to do. You know, I'm going to leave the Holy Spirit with you as a helper, and then you're going to go out and you're going to do the things I taught you to do, the things I did, the things I told you to do. And so the apostles were out doing what Jesus had done, preaching, healing, casting out demons, fun stuff like that, all the usual things. And they had the same effect that Jesus had. And I won't go into it because you can read this section yourself and see more details about what the outcomes were. But they had the same effect in that more and more people were coming to the good news of Jesus every day and following Jesus. They had lots and lots of people following them. And so the high priest and the Sadducees, they have Peter and the other apostles arrested and thrown into jail out of jealousy. And that, the writer of Acts is pretty clear on that. That's the whole reason for this. It wasn't necessarily that the apostles had done anything wrong or that they had broken real laws. It was because they were having an effect on the people, and the people were coming to them and following them. And that's why they did it, out of jealousy. Nothing makes the people in power, the people who wield power, more nervous than a movement that they're not in control of, or they at least think they're in control of. That's just the way it is. If you don't believe what Acts is saying, go back and read the Gospels and see what happens when people start following Jesus. That's the way it is. So, fortunately for the disciples, for the apostles, angels know how to pick locks. And that's what happens. They're in jail, and an angel shows up during the night, opens the door, and says, all right, I'm letting you out. You need to go out and stand in the temple. This is out of the New Revised Standard Version. The angel says to them, go stand in the temple and tell the people the whole message about this life. So the disciples, the apostles, are delivered from captivity, delivered from bondage, and for this purpose. The whole purpose of them being delivered is so that they can go and testify, so they can go and witness to the truth. That's an important thing to remember. I think we like to think that the apostles are one group of people, and that was one time, and it doesn't really have anything to do with Christianity today. But the truth is, that's who we are. We're supposed to be following in this apostolic tradition. A lot of our denominations make a very big deal about that, and so even though today we like to talk about, how we've all been delivered from our various prisons, and people will talk about, I was delivered from this. The question is, what were you delivered for? You were delivered, yes, but for what? you know, the disciples didn't, when they were delivered out of jail, out of bondage, they didn't just go out and, you know, revel in it and say, oh man, I could kill for a steak dinner right now, let's go enjoy our freedom. No, the disciples didn't just go out and, you know, bask in their newfound freedom. They went out and witnessed to the truth, and they went right back and did it in the face of the very people who had imprisoned them out of jealousy. They went to the temple precincts and witnessed once again to the truth. So my question for you today, as I leave you, and I'll be back Monday, is what are you going to witness to today? If God has delivered you, if Jesus Christ paid that price on the cross to deliver you out of your own captivity, what are you going to go about and witness about today? Have a good day. We'll see you Monday. Boop.